This episode is for everybody who feels like they're not seeing results, feels like they're doing everything that you're meant to do, doing all the steps, all the workouts, eating healthily, and the scales just aren't budging. Maybe you feel really deflated, maybe you feel a little bit lost, a bit stuck, you don't know what you're doing wrong, you don't know what to do next. Maybe you've hit panic mode because summer's coming up and you want to feel confident in your clothes and you want to be in a different place to where you are right now. So if that resonates in any way, stay tuned. I'm going to be talking about all the reasons why the scales maybe haven't budged and what you can do about it. But firstly, please don't panic. Please don't panic. These things take time and they do take patience. And usually the only reason that anyone would fail on a fitness and a health journey is by quitting too early or quitting when things get difficult, because for the majority of people, we like things to be easy. We like things to be easy, and when things get hard, that's when people quit. Or they say they lose motivation and they don't rely on the discipline to get them through, or just trusting the process, they quit and they look for the next shiny thing, the next shiny diet or the next shiny shake or whatever it might be, when in actual fact, in reality, it's just a case of these things take time and small adjustments. It's the unsexy little mini adjustments that you have to make along the way that really, really make all the difference, make that long-term difference. So if you feel like you're doing all the steps and you feel like you're turning up to your classes, but the weight just isn't budging, reason number one might be because you are not in a calorie deficit. So calorie deficit is where calories out are greater than calories in. And one mistake I see a lot of people making is they rely on the exercise to try and lose weight. So they end up being a bit of a hamster on a wheel, doing more and more steps, more and more workouts to try and burn calories. But exercise, yes, it burns some calories, but not half as many as people would like to believe. Not half as many as the watch would like you to believe. And it's just a really, really bad way of thinking about exercise, in my opinion. So I believe, and I hope you do too, that we should exercise for our heart health, for our lung health, for longevity, for stronger bones, so we're not worried about breaking when we're older, when we fall over. So we can be toned, so we can be shapely, so we can run down the road with our kids, so we can bend down and pick things up without pulling our backs, so we can run around the streets with our grandkids on our backs. I don't know, whatever you want to do, so you can be strong to lift your shopping. Just functional everyday life things. If you do this, if you keep yourself fit through working out, you will make your everyday life easier. That's the simple side of it. Yes, you're going to get that shapely look, you're going to get that tone, but your everyday life, if you're a fitter person, is going to be easier, and it will be easier as you get older. Exercising is the only way you can stay young and actually reverse the aging process. It's true. It really is. So if you want to look after your health and you want to stay fit and healthy in your older age, and you want to spend more time making memories than you do in the hospital, then you need to exercise. That's why we do fitness. We do fitness for all those reasons, to be healthy, for good quality life and in the long term, not to burn calories. If you're finding that you're doing lots and lots of exercise and you're actually getting really burnt out and you're not seeing the results from it, there's a real high chance that you're not allowing your body enough rest and recovery. So when we do exercise, when we work out, we break the muscles down, so it creates little micro tears in your muscles, and it needs time to repair. So you need protein, adequate rest and hydration for your muscles to repair, and then to get that shape to look. If your muscles are already fatigued and you're not allowing them to repair, yes, you can do more exercise, but you could get to a point where you're starting to get niggles or injuries, or you're overtraining, or you're not seeing that shape and that tone that you want and you feel like you should deserve from all your workouts, because your muscles haven't got time to put themselves back together and get stronger. So rest might be a factor, but it's going to mainly be coming from your diet. So if you are not in a calorie deficit, the only way to lose weight is by putting yourself into a calorie deficit, and you don't have to count calories to do that. And actually that isn't something that I recommend for the long term or even think you need to do. Like before now, cavemen and and people in past history, I don't know, in the 50s, 60s or whenever before then, still managed to lose weight without tracking calories on an app. So it can be done, it really can, and I'm going to tell you how to do that as well. So chances are you're not in a calorie deficit. This is reason number one. What you want to do here is you want to be adjusting the food side of things. So rather than trying to out-train the diet and not seeing the results that you feel like you deserve and training like a bit of a hamster on a wheel and just getting burnt out and maybe not enjoying exercise as much, like, it's really important to enjoy it as well. You want to be focusing on the diet side of things. So that's just adjusting what you eat slightly and making sure that you're nourishing the body. You're giving the body the good stuff that it needs. So that might be slight tweaks, and we're not talking anything massive. So my best advice here would be consistency with your diet. So having the same breakfast, same lunch and dinner, maybe swapping out the protein source. Snacks, keep them dead similar. So if you're having a piece of fruit as a snack, one day you have an apple, the next day you have a pear or a banana, etc. And making really small adjustments. You want to be tracking that for 3 to 4 weeks before you know whether it's properly working or not. And also bear in mind that your weight is going to fluctuate in that time. So if you're somebody who is affected by the scale weight and it ruins your day and it makes you feel like less of a person because of what a number says, which doesn't mean anything, by the way, it's not a true reflection of your health, but we'll delve into that in a moment, then I wouldn't recommend weighing yourself. You could take progress pictures, and actually there are better markers of progress than a number on a scale. So you could take progress pictures about 6 weeks apart, or if it helps you, and this is something that I would say you could do to, in a way, detach yourself from the number, is rather than just weigh yourself once a week, for example, weigh yourself every single day at the same time and take the lowest weight of that week and compare it over the weeks. This way you can take out those fluctuations and you'll get a clearer picture of where your weight is actually going. You can track it over time and just see it as data, as a data point. It's not you. You are not a number on the scale. It is just a piece of data. That's it. That is it. A lot of people get really, really hung up on the number on the scale, and they attach their worth to a number on a scale. Whereas what they're actually wanting is they're imagining that when they get to this certain weight, so let's say they want to lose 4 pounds, half a stone, 2 stone, 5 stone, whatever it is, they believe in their minds that when they get there, they're going to be this completely and utterly different person and feel like something really, really magical is going to happen when they reach that point. And the thing is, yes, chances are you probably will feel better, but at that specific number, I don't know. Because what they're actually wanting is they're associating with that number, they're associating better body confidence, they're associating better energy, so you get up in the morning, you feel good, better fitness, better health, so everyday tasks are becoming easier, you're seeing that muscle shape and that muscle tone, feeling more confident in your clothes, showing up as a happier person, sleeping better, drinking more water, consistent with your exercise, eating healthy foods and actually enjoying it and allowing for a little bit of what they want, going out with friends, having drinks and not having to worry about it. They're associating that number with all these different things, all these different outcomes. So rather than tracking the things that they actually want, which is more energy, to sleep better, to be happier, to be more confident in their own clothes, the shape of their body, their fitness, rather than actually tracking that, they're tracking a number. And the number isn't going to tell you whether you're sleeping better or whether you have more energy or whether your muscle shape is changing. That number isn't going to tell you that. So what is actually better is to measure your progress on the things that you're actually working towards. Why are you actually doing this? And if you're thinking, well, I'm actually just doing this to get to that number, then I think you need to sit with it and ask yourself why a few times. Why that number? Get to the actual reason, the bottom of why that number is important to you. Ask yourself why 3 times. For example, I want to lose half a stone. Why do I want to lose half a stone? Because I'm feeling really fluffy around my middle right now. Okay, so why is that important if I lose half a stone and I lose the fluff? Because I'm not feeling very confident in my own skin right now, and actually I've got a bunch of clothes in the back of my wardrobe that I really want to bring out for my summer holiday and just wear them and feel confident and feel happy in my own skin. Now that's why you want to do it. So hold that thought in your mind, and on your way to getting to that more confident person, let's track the things that really matter. Are you in a good routine with your fitness? Are you drinking more water? Are you sleeping better? Are you eating better so you have better energy? So you actually have energy to show up as a better person, a more confident person. Are you tracking these things? Are other people around you noticing that actually you're happier and you are radiating happiness and you are radiating confidence more than you were before? Track these things every single day, and I promise you, you will lose the weight and you will be in a better place with your health and fitness whilst getting to that number. So it's all about tracking the things that are going on and knowing that you can enjoy your life while you're on the way to getting to this destination that you want to get to. It's about the journey, it's not about the destination. And most people never reach a destination because they hit the panic button, because they lose motivation after a couple of weeks. So the first 2 weeks is always like shiny object syndrome. And then when you just have to trust the process and things get difficult around week, say 3 or 4 of a new thing, you push through those weeks, you come out the other side and you feel so much better and more motivated again. Action creates motivation. You just got to keep going to keep yourself motivated 100%. So if you are feeling like that, and you are feeling like you're not seeing results, just trust the process and make small little tweaks along the way rather than throwing the towel in too early, rather than giving up or hitting the panic button. So what a lot of people do is they will hit the panic button and they'll do something drastic, like massively change something, or go on a shake diet, or pick up, I don't know, some unhealthy sort of way of fasting. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not saying that fasting's a bad thing. It works for some people, but you know what I'm trying to get at here. Trying to do something drastic rather than sticking to the basics. The basics are good. They work. That's why they're the basics. But they try and do something drastic that's unsustainable. And then they can't stick at it because it's unsustainable. It's all about making those small changes and the small tweaks so you see the difference along the way. Of course, there's like an element to that of, well, you do want to see results, because it can be really deflating if you just say you've been trying to lose weight for 5 or 6 weeks and the scale literally hasn't budged. I would say a sensible amount of weight to lose and a sustainable amount is about 1 to 2 pounds per week, but that might not be linear. It might not be 1 pound every week. 1 week it might be 2 pounds. The next week you might find that your weight's similar, and the week after it might be 1 pound or 2 pounds. But overall, that's what you want to be aiming for, so that when you reach maintenance, which is the ultimate goal, isn't it? The ultimate goal is getting to that maintenance weight. You don't actually have to change that much. You might only have to change by, I don't know, a couple of 100 calories or something like that. You might not have to change that much. So that is why we do these little changes over time. And if you do find yourself hitting the panic button, then you need to come back to what's actually important, and do you actually want to sustain this for the long run? What are you aiming for here? So rather than trying to be completely and utterly perfectionist with everything, know that it's okay to make little slip-ups. It's okay to make little tweaks. It's okay some weeks if we don't lose weight. Weight fluctuates all the time. Just trust the process and keep on going with it, because you 100% will get there. Now, another reason a lot of people might not see a change in the scale weight is because they're actually changing their body composition. So they're losing fat, and gaining muscle. And muscle is more dense than fat. So you might not see much of a change in the scale weight, but actually your body composition will be completely and utterly changing. So you'll be getting this amazing tone and shape in your muscles. And that is something you can track over time with progress pictures as well. So it's really important to be just really mindful about how your body's changing and how you're feeling in yourself on this journey. Knowing that the number is just that, it is literally just a number. That's it. I really, really hope that this conversation, this episode has been useful. I really hope it's been useful so far. But I would say the main take-home points are: make small changes over time. Make little changes over time. Make sure you're tracking and you're being honest with yourself. A lot of people, they'll track, or they'll be really good from Monday to Thursday, or quote unquote really good, and their version of really good might be cutting food groups out, or cutting carbs out, or saying no, I can't have a single piece of chocolate. And then all it becomes is the big red button, and all you want to do is press the big red button. And of course then, what are you going to crave? A thing that you've not allowed yourself to have. We shouldn't be starving our bodies from anything. We shouldn't be depriving ourselves from anything. Everything in moderation. You really can have a balance. You really can. And actually you should be encouraging yourself to have a little bit of what you want too, which is where the 70-30 rule comes in. If you 70% of nourishing foods are really going to give your body what it needs: lean proteins, fibrous carbohydrates, your vegetables, your fruits, things that come from the ground. And 30% the more processed things, the things that your eye might want, for example the chocolate or the pizza or the wine. But it's important to have those, because it's important to have that in balance. When you hit your maintenance, your actual goal of where you want to be, what are you going to say? You can't have those things for the rest of your life? No. So we've got to think about the journey. You've got to think about what you're doing on the way to getting to what you want. So a lot of people cut certain groups out, or certain food groups out, and then they can't sustain it, and they might deprive themselves of it Monday to Thursday, and by the time they get to the weekend they just go overboard, and any calorie deficit that they might have put themselves in, they're out of it now. So you have to find what's working for you. You have to be honest with yourself, and you have to be consistent, and know that this is a journey, and the only way you're not going to get there is if you give up, or if you give up too early. So before you start reaching for the next shiny thing or the next shiny object thing, think about the person that you want to become. Do you want to be the person who is okay with having a little bit of what they want, who mainly eats really well and nourishing foods for their body most of the time, who has good skin, who is happier, who shows up as a confident person, who has a strong body with shape and tone, and somebody who feels like they can wear the summer dress or the summer bikini with confidence? Who do you want to be? And what would they act like? And how would they talk to themselves as well? Remember, you've got to work with yourself rather than against yourself. You can't be your own worst enemy. No one wants to be bullying themselves for the things that they didn't do or the things that they haven't achieved yet. Think about the things that you have achieved. Work with yourself as opposed to against yourself, and you will get there. Treat yourself with kindness, and treat yourself as you would a friend or somebody else. What would you say to them? What would you say to a friend or a sister or a brother or a partner who is on this journey? What would you say to them? And now say that to you. Focus on your small wins on the way. Focus on the things that you are achieving on the way. And know that if things aren't working and you've tried doing something for 3 to 4 weeks consistently, and that's being honest with yourself that you have done that consistently, then you know you need to change things a little bit, but only by a little bit. For example, if you've been consistent with your food for 4 weeks and the scale hasn't changed, then you can drop your portion sizes by 20% and continue with that for 3 or 4 weeks and see what happens there. But anyway, I hope this has been useful, and I hope it's got you thinking more. And I would really like you to take action after listening to this episode and just get a pen and paper down, write down why you're doing this, think about the person you want to become, and just write down some action points from this. So what are you going to do? Are you going to keep a food diary? Are you going to be consistent with it? Are you going to start tracking your water, your sleep, your workouts? Are you going to be kinder to yourself? Are you going to write down 3 wins each day? What are you going to do from this episode that's going to move you forwards? I really hope you've enjoyed listening to this. And if you are listening to this and you're not a squaddy and you feel completely and utterly stuck with where you are right now with your weight, with your health and your fitness, and you feel in a really bad place, then please do come and join us. Head to lawnmariefitness.co.uk and hop on to our next intake, and I would love to help you.